What's up, y'all? It's Shuffle, and today we're going to do a little special kind of thing. There's going to be some post-commentary Bloodmoon Countess. I originally thought about doing this live, but I was actually a little nervous about this fight, so I wanted to be able to concentrate, not have to think about commentary while I'm playing. I'd rather just focus on the actual fight. So what we're doing here is we got right outside the Countess's door with this party. Well, not this party, but we used a different party. So we left on our last trip in here so I could bring in this new group, and so I'm just buying a bunch of stuff to help me at the fight. That's why there's only a little bit of food in case I wanted to try and get the trinket after I killed her, if I killed her. And then I brought a bunch of healing stuff, obviously, and then one torch for the group accuracy buff. So I decided to only bring a couple Crimson Curse people instead of a full party. I think I did that my first time and it just didn't work that well. And then also bloodlusting him turn one was kind of a mistake, but anyway, Countess, a lot more HP on Bloodmoon, up to 480. It's a very long fight, or it can be. So we took a team that can exploit her biggest weaknesses, and those are her multiple turns, so that's why we have two people that can put down some heavy bleed. The Flagellant, I feel, is probably the best class for Crimson Court, and I was pretty annoyed that he dodged that bolster. Like, I really wanted him to get that. And so right here, I was actually nervous, because I just saw, you know, he dodged the bolster, and then there's all this stress and stuff, and then he eats a crit, and I'm just like, oh, I'm gonna just wipe on, like, turn 2, is what I was thinking, but we started pulling it back, recovering. The Flagellant doubles as kind of like an extra spot healer, even though he's technically afflicted with Bloodlust. It kind of acts like an affliction. And then we took, as I said, we took people to use bleed against her multiple actions, which would really hurt her, because the extra bleed, you know, going off 3 times a turn, that's just a ton of damage. And then we took 2 people that can stun. We're gonna try and stun with the Man-at-Arms for when she switches to her second form, because she only gets like 2 turns, and you can stun her in there, and that's like her weakest form. So that was the goal with that. So we took the Man-at-Arms for a couple buffs for guarding Highwayman, just because he's a complete beast on damage. And okay, so we got the stun, right? She changed forms. Yeah, and so here we're just trying to survive. So we start off with some really bad luck, and then it starts to kind of come back in our favor, and I got kind of lucky on some of the stuff too, like Stumble, RNG. You know, the Flagellant can move 3 spaces forward, which is what we really want, but also he has a couple things he can do in the back. So he took his 2 per battle skills, his heal, in case he gets thrown back, and we took Punish, because that's his best move, or his best offensive move. And the Highwayman just has stuff he can do at every rank, so that's just really good. And the only thing that really hurts this team is if the Vestal lands in rank 1. That's the only thing that really screws this team up, and I don't think it actually happens, or if it does, we fix it pretty quickly. So yeah, this is the scary part when she gets into this form, because she is probably her most dangerous here. She can put out a lot of damage, obviously. This is when she can heal, and this is usually about the time when the parasitic eggs that she puts on you. Oh, she has that stun too, I forgot about that. So when she starts putting down the parasitic eggs, they usually start popping around this time, like turn 3 or 4. So that's why you kind of get this, like her group attacks and the bleeds and all that start landing, and then the eggs can start blowing up. So it just gets really lethal here. And I think I was, for some reason, considering stunning her right there, but I don't want to stun her in this form. That'd probably be the dumbest thing, but yeah, it was more like just start getting nervous on some stuff, but doing pretty good. Starting to recover. I do forget to use some of the healing items, like the medicinal herbs. I think I just space out and I never use them. I think we have too much blood, but that was just in case, because it's a long fight, so that was just in case we started getting hit with the, you know, Crimson Curse shenanigans. The Man-at-Arms actually pulled a surprising amount of weight here. With, you know, the buffs, and I think he gets 1 or 2 really good stuns. He got at least 1, I think he gets another one. Command, I was confused at first, 'cause I thought it was like a once per battle thing, but then I realized, oh wait, I can just hit it every time. So we're just looking around to see how much time's left on it. Ideally for this fight, if you really want to maximize your chances of winning, is you could go clear your way to her and then clear your way back to like a wine crate and then leave and then come in with the new team. And then you can start where the new team breaks the wine crate for some firewood and then camps right in front of her place and hopefully only have like 1 or 2 fights that respawn max. And then you can use some camp skills. That's what I would have liked to do. I really wanted to use tactics, but I didn't get that, so. And if I could have got like one of the Highwayman's damage buff camping skills, that would have been really good. And we got lucky there that didn't put him to death's door. So the only thing the Flagellant really has to dodge is the Blight, because his bleed resist is through the roof, so I don't think he's going to get hit by it. He might get hit once. That was just unfortunate. So here, this is probably the... Oh, actually she had, yeah, an extra turn there and she still switched forms, so we were kind of lucky. Because she could have probably just threw out another attack and screwed us up. It's really hard to keep track of a lot of things in this fight because she has 3 forms, 2 of them kind of look similar. And she's just always doing different stuff. She gets multiple turns, you know, multiple actions per turn. So like I said, it's kind of hard to keep track of everything she's doing. It's more just... Like, the way I'm thinking about it is, this is the big damage phase. And the other one, she does stumble. And then the second phase is the one that I get to put down damage and recover a little bit. That was a fantastic crit. Very helpful right there. It's one of those things, since she gets so many extra actions and stuff like that, when you're able to hit crits on some of these bleeds, those really put down a lot of extra damage quickly. So even though she has almost 500 hit points, it feels like she was going down pretty quick. I think after the first phase, I'm trying to think of a good word here, like the first phase, she was doing or she was down like 60 hit points or something. I think she had a bleed that she ended up curing. Yeah, we get a couple death stores here, like over this fight, and it's important to not be terrified. It's tough not to be, but as long as no one has bleed and stuff like that, you're a little more safe. Also, there's a sequencing thing there with the Vestal that, you know, I'm doing this like live post commentary, so I'm not pausing it or anything. But we did the single target heal first, in case the Flagellant did something with his Bloodlust Affliction where he didn't want us to, you know, heal him. He's like, you know, hey, piss off. So if he told us we couldn't use the single target one, we were going to use the group heal one after. And we're doing it a second time. Or considering it. Okay, I went that way. Yeah. So that's a little sequencing thing you can do to kind of suppress some of the negative RNG. So we still had a way to get him off Death's Door, and if he bounced 2 heals because of Bloodlust, that's just unfortunate. But it's pretty rare for him to do that. It really feels like the Man-at-Arms pulls a lot of weight at the end. I know he said he did pretty well this whole fight, but just when I started guarding people, you know, like, it just seemed that she kept attacking the targets he was guarding and stuff, so it was very fortunate. And thankfully our Vestal never really gets dumpstered. She never gets focus fired here. And for as rough of a start as it was, how we had like a Death's Door pretty early, I think. We've already had 2 this fight. It just felt like at this point, it was kind of the light at the end of the tunnel. It felt like we were going to make it through here. It still takes a while. It's a long fight. But it's like once you get through a couple phases, if people are still alive, there aren't afflictions going on yet, once all that stuff is happening, it's repetition at that point. So it's like if you can get through one phase pretty successfully, you know, like one rotation of all three of her phases, then you can do the fight. That's kind of how you have to think about it. It's like a old Dark Souls mentality in regards to bosses. You know, if you think about it in Dark Souls, it's kind of empowering. It's like, if I can hurt the monster and not get hit by the monster, then I can kill the monster. That's kind of what we're thinking here. You can't just avoid every single thing, but it's like, if I can survive a couple of these rotations, then I can do this fight. It's just kind of daunting because of how long it lasts. And she's missing some of her stuff here, which is good. I've seen people do this fight with like some crazy type of teams where they have like the Man-at-Arms and like an Antiquarian or something, and they just spam the hell out of dodge. You can do things like using the shard powder or whatever, which I didn't have Color of Madness enabled on this file, but you can use like the shard powder and use, you know, a bunch of bolsters and just last the whole fight, which is good. I was trying to think of who else would be really good on this fight. I took a Houndmaster the first time, and there's our second one of Exsanguinate. Our second or third, but I think we're out after that. But we don't really need it. And it's kind of tough too, because if you're using that setup where you have both of his couple uses per battle abilities, you have to really decide when you're using them. Because if someone doesn't desperately need a heal, I don't want to use the one that heals two people. I'd rather use Exsanguinate. I'm surprised that doesn't riposte. I think they changed that. I don't think it... I think it used to riposte on that, but it doesn't anymore. But look, you see, this Man-at-Arms guarding has actually been really good. I think it's like the second or third time he's been hit by, like, Disrobe, and one or two times with Love Letter. And since he gets the extra prot boost, what's he at, 40%? He's really shaved off a lot of damage doing that. So we didn't care about his damage, that's why we used the Rampart Shield instead of, like, just a regular stun trinket. Command was pretty good for this, but if you really wanted to, you could go like riposte and take command off or something, and then use just a regular stun trinket like the Dazzling Charm. Yeah, at this point it was just a matter of watching her go down, because, you know, we're so healthy at this point. Our buffs are up. We have guard and stuff going down. Not everyone has the stupid parasitic egg. And you see here, like, she's still getting out of her bleeds pretty quickly, but yeah, once it was at this point, I was thinking that, like, once we get that stun on her at this point, it was done. Because this is her weakest damage output form. So, and the Flagellant just seals over the fat crit. And that was it. And so we get one set trinket that is pretty cool, the Crusader one, then we get the Antiquarian one, which we don't care about. The set bonus on the Antiquarian one's pretty good, but that one specifically, the damage against Blight and stuff like that, Antiquarian ain't doing damage. The hell is that? It's garbage. That's alright. So, I try and go further, but it doesn't work out. Either way, thank you for watching. Next time, other Darkest Dungeon stuff. Goodbye.